Hello and welcome back to Blueprints. Last time we did a whole bunch of stuff. I don't even know how to begin, how to recap that. But the important thing is that we set ourselves up for potential success on day 7. So we're going to be starting with, let's see, a key card in our inventory already. We're going to be starting with a package at the entrance that can potentially contain some really good stuff. And on top of that, we're going to have, I think, 3 hallways in our draft pool. And I think most importantly, if we can draft it, the shelter, the time lock safe in there will potentially be open today, because I really think that today might be the 13th. So here's our package. Let's look at it. We got a sleeping mask and we got 2 gems. Okay, not too bad. It says date packed the 12th and shipped the 12th. So I guess I don't know whether that's today or yesterday. But after reviewing some of the footage, that's kind of how I came to the conclusion that maybe today is the 13th. Just because of seeing the date on a previous packing slip. So if today does not turn out to be the 13th, then I think that packing slip is sufficient evidence that today is actually the 12th. But regardless, what I would like to do, is go over here to hopefully draft the shelter. And if it turns out I can't draft the shelter today, that's going to be really disappointing. Maybe I should wait until I get like a ivory dice or something, but I think it's more important, even if I don't get the shelter today, I think it's more important to draft an outdoor room. Okay, so no shelter. That's okay. I still feel a little more confident than I did before about what date it is. I might be able to even narrow it down so that I can test out different times that are within an hour to see if it'll return like an error so that I know for sure. But that'll have to wait till a future run. Schoolhouse adds 8 classrooms to today's draft pool. Wow, that is intense and really tempting, honestly. Special floor plans now cost additional steps instead of gems. I really like that to begin with. And trading post I have not done yet, which could potentially be really good. Let's do schoolhouse. I think that's the most exciting one to me right off the bat. This is quite the abandoned schoolhouse. We do get a sledgehammer though, that's nice. Herbie. I guess Herbie would be Herbert. I don't know. Closing address. For the last 38 years, it has been my pleasure of serving as your schoolmaster in this humble little facility. And meager as it may look by modern standards, I think most of us who spent our afternoons here will readily admit that we are reluctant to see this small piece of Reddington history go. I first wish to thank Lady Epson, our most gracious host today, for not only paying attention in my classes those many years ago, but for all the fundraising she has done on behalf of our community and our children. Without her, Reddington Elementary would be a distant and blurry vision, a vision that I dared not even dream. That dreamer is, of course, the incomparable Mrs. Peterson, our future principal and my reluctant successor, who I might add forced me to give this speech, so I think I'll end my praise of her there, though she deserves much more, I'll admit. To the architect of our new school, the Baron Sinclair, thank you for following in your father's footsteps in building Reddington yet another school, and for also allowing the use of your own private residence and floor plans to serve as our interim facility until the new campus is completed in March. A decision I'm certain he will immediately regret tomorrow morning when he hears the children running through his halls. And lastly, I wish to thank all my students, many of you here today whom I have not seen in years, whose faces I still remember as young and manners wild. Those here whose parents before them I have also taught, and whose children I may yet. Without you, I would have had a lifetime of quiet peace. And yet, what is all the peace in the world if you have no one to bestow demerits upon? Thank you all sincerely. My time here has meant the world to me, and if I am still standing in 8 months, I will see you all at the slightly less melancholic ribbon-cutting ceremony next year. Better joke to end? Question mark. Remember to give Mrs. Peterson her gift. Interesting. So, sounds like the person giving this address may have had some health issues, which is why they are no longer going to be schoolmaster. I'm trying to see if they have a name. I don't think so. Interesting. Can't open those books. Can't open this drawer. Nothing in the chalkboard. Okay. Oh, yes. Glad I saw that. And I believe that's, yep, 3 out of 4. So just one more, potentially in a third outdoor room that I can draft, because I believe one of the other two is also in an outdoor room that I drafted. Yes, it was the hovel, I'm pretty sure. So, sad that I could not draft the shelter, but that's okay. We've still got a lot going for us on this run, so hopefully we'll start to see some success going forward. Let's try going to the left. What I'd really like to see, and let me check my inventory. Nope, wrong one. There we go. Yes, I have the key card. An electronic key card opens electronically powered security doors. Okay, so it would be really nice to get security and turn that up to high so that I can get even more of them. Out of these 3, I already have gems, which there's nothing wrong with getting more gems, but I think I'd like to get the library to see if I can get that book that I checked out originally. Yes, I think this is it. No, that's a coupon book. Okay. The book that I'm thinking about is right in front of me on the table. A discount coupon book. Save 1 coin on each purchase you make in the estate. Now, it's pretty nice to get early. Okay, here we go. That's my checkout date. November. Oh goodness, what does that say? Hold on, I'm going to get really close to the screen, so I'll have to move my mic a bit. Okay, that would be today's date, November 13th, which means I was correct. So that's good. I'm glad I got the date here and don't have to worry about doing any trial and error with the time lock safe or anything like that. Okay, Volume 3, Drafting Strategy, June issue. The Potential Within, Gems, Gems, Gems. Planning your house, top drafting combos, making a connection, tips and tricks, word from the editor. Okay. The Potential Within. We all start as an empty floor plan. To the ambitious young architect, a fresh blueprint represents a world of boundless possibilities. When you are staring at a blank canvas, you have unlimited potential and ideas to explore. But with an abundance of options at your disposal, the architect can also become overwhelmed by the countless choices and decisions that need to be made. Should I draft a hallway or a closet? How many bedrooms do I need in my house? Is passageway really worth 2 gems? All these questions can compound, adding layers of complexity and stress to the design process. That's why it's even more important to develop simple and effective strategies that you can employ while drafting your house to ensure a successful project outcome. In this volume of Architectural Digest, we aim to provide architects with some of those strategies and even assist them in developing their own. Gems, gems, gems. Every architect needs them. Although many architects employ different strategies when developing their house designs, most of them agree on one guiding principle: have gems while drafting. One of the most common ways architects draft themselves into a corner is by not having the resources they need when opening a new door. If you lack the gems to consider all three presented options, you may be forced to draft a room you do not want. To avoid this predicament, focus on drafting rooms that grant you gems and prioritize acquiring gems as early in the day as you can. This approach is a surefire way to set yourself up for success. That's good to know, and I did the opposite of that by drafting this instead of drafting the parlor, but that's okay. I'm thinking the advice is going to be worth it more in the long run. Reader submitted gem strats. Make sure you check for gems in the room you are in before clicking the door. I do this way too much, Alice F. Think about saving some gems for emergencies. I try to only spend them if I really, really need a room. Jen H. I will never draft passageway on the first 5 ranks. It's a simple strat that has served me well. Kyle P. If you see gems for sale in any of the shops, buy them out. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I don't think I've really bought gems in the past, but I will probably want to do that going forward if I can. And that was Matthew M. Don't pass up wine cellar, even if you're not thirsty. There's no such thing as too many gems. I may have a bit of a problem. Craig O. Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. I think prioritizing gems early on is just good all around because those later rooms you get a lot more rare options. Planning your house, estate layout, and drafting. When you begin drafting a house, it's important to start each day with a solid foundation. Draft early ranks first. A very common mistake beginners make is drafting in a straight line north and ignoring the many unopened doors they have left behind in the entrance hall and rooms of the early ranks. When these architects reach the higher ranks, they quickly discover they do not have enough keys or gems to continue. Their day usually ends by returning to the lower ranks to draft from the doors they skipped, only to find rooms and items that would have made all the difference if they had only been found earlier in the day. Yep. As the layout to the right demonstrates, even a path of rooms that snakes through the house and does not go in a straight line can also be structurally weak if you are leaving lots of unopened doors on the ranks behind you. By starting each day on a strong foundation of rooms on the early ranks, you will have a much better chance of finding success when you eventually start heading further into the house. I think typically I do a good job of that, but I think a lot of times my floor plan, blueprint, whatever you call it, ends up looking like this one on page 7, where I tend to go in a direction and not want to go backwards, and so I just keep following it, even though I probably should backtrack a little bit so I can fill out some of those early ranks. Top drafting combos. 5 combos you won't want to miss. Another aspect to consider when planning your house is the order in which you draft rooms. For instance, if you draft cloister before terrace, you will be down 3 gems. Yep. But if you draft them in the reverse order, cloister would be free. Right, because terrace makes it free. Identifying a synergistic pair of floor plans is an essential first step, but determining the optimal order for drafting those rooms will provide you with an additional advantage, significantly improving your chances of success. Make sense? Other floor plan combos. A foyer drafted before Great Hall would mean that all of its many doors would be unlocked. Foyer, hallway doors are always unlocked. Wow. Have I seen foyer? I'm not sure about that. That's interesting though. Drafting bunk room after nursery will give you 10 extra steps because it counts as 2 separate bedroom triggers. Yes, I've done that before. You won't have to backtrack constantly to collect your gold spread from office if you draft a conference room. Yes, and I think I even tried that the other day. I had something that spread something around the house, and I chose to do a conference room instead, just in case I drew that one later. The more items you have, the greater your chances of being able to create a contraption in the workshop. Yes, that also makes sense. And I really need to try out the workshop because I forgot to do that the first time. Making a connection. Oh, before I move on, seeing the attic there reminded me, when I was reviewing my footage, I've completely caught up on that, by the way. I realized that after I got the basement key from the antechamber, I never clicked on a locked door, and I don't know if there were any available at that time. But what I realized is that basement key might just be a special key where I can click on a locked door, use the special key, and then draft the basement. I'm not positive about that yet, but it seems fairly likely considering I have not seen evidence against that yet. Making a connection, estate connectivity. Two pair combos aren't the only form of room synergy. You will find some floor plans only work by drafting other specific rooms. These rooms aren't powerful on their own, but can become very useful when their connectivity is eventually discovered. The utility closet is a perfect example of this. It doesn't do anything by itself, but it can literally power up or down other rooms you have drafted in your house. Garage powers garage door and grants west path access. Yes, I've done that before. Dark room turns lights back on after blowing a fuse. Done that before. Gymnasium turns lights off to prevent step loss. Oh, that makes sense. I didn't even think to look at my steps when I was doing that. I even tested out what it would be like to turn the gym lights off. But that makes sense that you don't lose both steps. I'll have to see if you lose any steps, but I imagine you just lose the normal one instead of the two. Other examples of connectivity. Her ladyship's chamber. Ooh, okay. One of the more simple examples of her ladyship's chamber has synergy with Lady Epson's other two rooms, her boudoir and her walk-in closet. The next time you enter boudoir, gain 10 steps. The next time you enter walk-in closet, gain 3 gems. Oh, interesting. The boiler room connects ducts from room to run steam power to specific destinations in the house. Laboratory, garage, laundry room, furnace, and pump room all have uses for steam power. I am going to write that down. That is so helpful and really important, and I'm already writing stuff down involving the ducts. So let me pull up my notes real quick. Blueprints, here we go. And I've got a section for air vents. So just to make it clear, these are ones that actually use the power. So laboratory, garage, laundry room, furnace, and pump room. All use the boiler room power. If I can type, this will go a lot faster. There we go. Okay, yes, that is super helpful. I've been wondering about that. Speaking of pump room, this room controls the water level throughout rooms in the estate and can interact directly with the pool, aquarium, greenhouse, kitchen, and several other features located outside of the main house. Several other features located outside of the main house. Interesting. So that tells me that the fountain on the schematic probably is the outside fountain. And by outside fountain, I mean the one out in front of the house. So I wonder if there's something to do with that if you completely empty the fountain. Probably. I'll have to try that next time. Tips and tricks. In the kitchen, you can check which course is being served in the dining room that day. This will allow you the opportunity to draft specific rooms that will make the meal even more delicious. Yes. Besides counting as 2 bedrooms, bunk room also counts as 2 rooms. This will increase the amount of steps granted by the master bedroom. Yep. The amount of gold spread by the tomb. Interesting. And the amount of keys found in a servant's quarters. Okay, I don't think I've encountered tomb or servant's quarters, and I'm not even sure I've drafted master bedroom, but I think I've seen it available to draw at least. But man, that means there's a lot I haven't seen. But it is good to know that bunk room, counting as 2 rooms, increases the number of things that can be spread around the house. Each time you solve a puzzle in billiard room or parlor, the difficulty will increase slightly the next time you draft that room. Good. I like it when puzzles get harder. Just because you didn't find any items in a room when you first explored it, doesn't mean that will be the case the next time you draft it. Yeah, I think that makes sense, especially coins are just littered everywhere. Yeah, the day after drafting freezer, it enters an automated cooldown refreezing cycle. during which it cannot be drafted for the next 24 hours. Okay, so if I do the freezer, which freezes my currencies, so maybe good to do when I have a lot of gems and or coins. It will freeze that amount, which I will have starting the next day, and then I can't draft the freezer again during that day. I think that makes sense. And that also means the freezer can't be like copied with a mirror room or something. Although it says the day after drafting freezer, so I don't know. If you are stuck or don't know what to do in a specific room, sometimes it is smart to move on. There are multiple ways to solve many of the challenges you will come across, and there's a very good chance you will find a piece of information down the road which may help. I love it. Sounds great. I'm thinking about, off the top of my head, the cloister has like this inner section of it that I couldn't reach last time. And when I was reviewing my footage, I realized that the book in the orchard, the guy said something about forgetting how to enter the inner part of that room. So at some point, I'm sure I will learn how that works. And probably a lot of other things too. When in doubt, draft rooms you have never seen before. Even if you do not think the rooms seem very useful, they may still hold useful clues and information that may help you on your journey. Yep. And I'm trying to do that whenever something else doesn't look too good to pass up. Word from the editor. Although with this volume we have provided our readers with many potential strategies and tricks to try, we here at Architectural Digest hope that aspiring architects know that there truly is no set blueprint for success. Forging your own path and coming up with your own unique strategies will, in our humble opinion, always provide the best results. Each architect has his own favorite room, each builder his own favorite tool, and thus each player in turn will develop their own style of play and discover their own secrets and tricks that they can share with the world, or keep to themselves. Whatever strategy you employ, we wish you the best of luck drafting, and hope you build the house of your dreams. Very nice. Okay. Definitely some good stuff in there that I did not know before, and will continue to be on the lookout for. Yeah, that sounds good. Gonna quickly check for items. There might be some upstairs. I might also just take a look through these books about my progress again. Oh goodness. Everything okay? Yes, okay. Sorry for that freak out. Let's see. 9 hours, 35 minutes. Ooh, yeah. 7 days. Yeah. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Yeah, 3 upgrade discs. Very nice. Looking for coins or keys or anything like that. Oh, these are windows. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. And anything new in the scrapbook? Conference room. Can't seem to pass that up. Most drafted is hallway. That makes a lot of sense considering I get more and more of them each time. Most paid for observatory. I do like to get that. Security. Contraptions I've made, none, because I didn't even notice it. Kitchen receipt, bacon and eggs, paid in full. Largest purchase. This is for food. Don't know what these little cutouts are for, but I'm sure we'll find out. Maybe one day. Sauna, most avoided floor plans. Yeah, I've seen sauna multiple times. Definitely more than Maid's Chamber and Trading Post. Although I guess I've seen Maid's Chamber a few times, because off the top of my head, I've seen Trading Post twice. And I don't remember seeing Maid's Chamber, but it must have been more than twice, or twice. Okay, yeah, there's some new stuff in there. And every time I feel like I've got a good handle on what's going on in this game, they let me know that there's a lot more that I have yet to find, which is a great feeling. And that excites me a lot. I think I'm going to take some of that advice and fill out this lower rank. Unfortunately, I can't go straight across. But what I can do is get gems early on. So let's do it. Get a gem, a key, and a coin. Anything else hiding out around here? Does not look like it. Okay. Then let's go up, since we have to now. Chapel. This might be a good place to put it, because I feel like I could probably end up just avoiding going through there later. But alternatively, I could go ahead and get myself another key. I think this makes sense to put here, because it guarantees me a pathway up, and also I probably won't be coming back through here very often. There's a bishop here, which is interesting. Seems to be the only real chess-themed thing in here. But, I mean, a bishop is also, you know, chapel-themed, so guess there's nothing wrong with that. Any coins lying around? Doesn't look like it. Let's go... Let's go to the left. Security sounds really great. And let me check my floor plan. Yes, this is also just a really good place to put it. So, despite the fact that parlor would get me more gems, I'm going to go with security so I can add in some more keycard rooms for myself. I'm assuming these always say the same thing. Yes, it looks like it. And I'm assuming this has the same thing. Yep. All right. Let's change our keycard system settings. And we're going to set security level to high. Yep, and we're going to confirm that. And I don't think it matters what offline mode is, but I guess I'll change it to unlocked. I don't think there's any harm in doing that. Yep. Okay, so now we've got high security, which is great because that's guaranteed doors that we can open. So from here, let's go up. And this one is great, gives me a gem and allows me to go over to the left side. So we're going to do that. I feel reinvigorated with all the knowledge I gained from that little strategy booklet. There do not seem to be any chests or anything in here. Here's another little chest-themed... I bet there's a whole puzzle around that, huh? Oh boy. Oh goodness. Do I... My question is, do I start keeping track of that? What's interesting about this, it doesn't seem to be a grid thing that spawns these. It's based on room, because I believe this pawn is always in this room, and that bishop is always in the chapel, as far as I can tell. We will just have to see. Hallway could be really good here. Pantry could also be pretty good here. I think I'm going to put in hallway to give myself some more guaranteed space on the far left side. So let's do that. Let's see, doors in the west wing are more likely to be locked. We know that that's not true now. And I have that written down in my notes as not true, because now I know. classroom. Okay, here we go. While drafting in classroom, you may draw new floor plans one time for each one of those rooms in your house. I know those rooms have a special name, but I don't remember what it is. That's not going to be helpful if I put it here, because it's while you're drafting in the classroom, and I wouldn't be able to draft anything in the classroom if I put it here. So we're not going to do that, although it is a new room, so it is tempting. All of these are dead ends, so we're officially locked out of that bottom left corner, but that's okay. And I think the 2 items are going to be more useful than the coins right now, so let's do that. And yeah, I know the strategy guide said even if the room doesn't seem useful, you should draft it if it's new. Sometimes it just seems too unuseful. Let's go back through the den and head off to the right so that we can attempt to fill out this rank and possibly get even more of rank 1. Okay, hallway would send me straight across, which would be great, and I think I'm going to need to take it if I want to get over to the right side at all. I've drafted nursery before, I've drafted coat check before. I don't think there's necessarily anything I want to put in coat. Well, the key card would be nice to have in coat check at some point. So even if I just waited till the end of the day to go back to coat check, put in the key card, that could at least guarantee that at some point down the line I can get another key card. But I think hallway is going to be my best bet for now. Looking around for coins. Yep. Okay. Break room does get me where I want to go and gives me some rewards, as well as a reward for ending my day there. So that could be really nice. Observatory also gets me where I want to go and gets me another star. But I think I want to do break room. So I'm really just wanting to stockpile on items of all kinds. Nothing between the couch cushions. I believe these are the same. Yep. And doesn't look like there's anything back here. Yeah, okay. Plus 1 point per consecutive dartboard solved during breaks. Interesting. Don't really know if that applies to me or not. Let's see, this is 2. This is 2. This one is 11. Ooh, wow. This one is 10. Nice. I like the increase in challenge each time. Silver key is great. And yeah, we can go back down to rank 2 here, I think. None of these get me over to the right side, unfortunately. So let's put spare room here, because it seems like the most useless room in general. And I'm not even, well, there might be stuff in there. I'm going to come in. There's nothing in here. I don't know if there's ever anything in the spare room, because it seems like a good room for just being empty all the time. But I just don't know that for sure. I guess I could see if there's anything written about the spare room. An unfinished, and otherwise unremarkable empty room. If there had at some point been plans for the spare room, it would seem those designs are now long forgotten. Okay, not really any info about items or anything, but that's okay. Let's see. Now we're going to go up from that left hallway. So let's do that. I have no idea whether I'm doing better or worse than normal right now, because I feel like I've locked myself out of several sections. This would give me +3 keys, which is nice. And it would give me access to the west path, which I guess is also nice. Although it's only access to the west path if I can get the breaker room, which I keep calling the breaker room even though I don't think it's called that. I also shouldn't do this because that's going to block me off completely from everything. So let's not do that. Let's do West Wing Hall to guarantee myself a path up. June 15th, 1983. Clara Epson. Interesting. Still have no idea who that is, but presumably they're pretty important because they have several rooms in the house. I'm tempted to do Secret Passage just so I can choose the color. Nook would give me an extra key, which is nice. Coins would also be nice. This would allow me to explore more on this rank. Let's do it. I've also never really... Well, maybe. I don't remember if I've used the Secret Passage to its full functionality yet. Doesn't look like there's anything to pick up in here. There is a pawn, which is concerning, because it's leading me to believe more and more that there's some chess-related puzzle. That's okay. I'm worried that because it's based on the floor plans and not based on the grid, that I might have to set them up a specific way in the grid to achieve some sort of goal. And that's kind of scary to me. Okay, what color of room would be helpful right now? That is the question. There are the regular rooms, which I can't even do a regular room. It has to be like a special room of some sort. So bedrooms, all about steps. And there are 3 bedrooms I haven't seen yet, so that's an option. There's a hallway I have not seen yet, but I think it's unlikely that I'll draw it. 3 green rooms I haven't seen yet, but I probably need to be on the edge to see most of those. A lot of shops I haven't seen. That might be the play, although I don't have any coins on me. And there's 1 red room I haven't seen yet, but red rooms are not particularly desirable, generally speaking. And I've seen 4 of the 8 outdoor rooms. Interesting. I might do the... Yeah, I might do the shops. There's always the chance I will come upon some coins. So I should see if I can get a new room. Yeah, we're just going to use a regular key. That's fine. Locksmith, keys for sale. Ooh. It is a new room. This isn't going to lead me anywhere. This is going to lead me somewhere. Special cost bypassed. What does that mean? Special cost bypassed. I don't think I have anything that lowers the, like, gets rid of the special costs. Huh. I wonder if you aren't allowed to draw 3 rooms that cost gems. But maybe all of the yellow rooms do cost gems? I have no idea. It's so tempting to go with aquarium because that'll get me to the other side. And I can't afford anything right now. But it's a new room. Although this room looks like I'm going to walk in, only be able to walk up to the counter and not really see much else. I'm going to go with aquarium. Maybe I'm delaying my progress by not choosing new rooms, but I think I'm just going to be okay with that for now. Once again, I don't think there's anything that seemingly important in here. I could see if there's like a chess piece hiding out somewhere, but I don't know what I would do with that information right now. Yeah. And I'm not seeing anything, so I don't know whether that's a relief or that means I'm just blind. Okay, classroom, once again, not very helpful here. And bedroom would open up more options. I really might just need to do classroom. I do have a redraw. That could give me some better options, maybe. Because what I'd like to do is go straight across. Yeah, I'll redraw. I still can't go straight across. That's really unfortunate. And now I can't even go up. Utility closet might be good. Kitchen's probably not that great. Coat check could also be good. Let's do utility closet. Man, the further I go, the more I feel like this is not going super well. Keycard entry system can actually stay on. That's fine. I don't know if there's an advantage to turning this purple. And I don't remember if I know how to do that. Here we go. Yeah, I don't know. Let's turn the garage on. Let's turn gymnasium off. And that'll be good. Now that we know that gymnasium is better when it's off. Okay, now we go back here and we go upwards. This is the very left side, right? I don't know if I want to use a special key just yet. Let's do this. And it's going to force me over to the right, which is fine. Let's do Nook since I'm out of keys now, other than special keys. There's our key. Are there any coins? There's a chess piece. Yeah, there is for sure some sort of chess puzzle going on. I think I'm just going to try to ignore it now. Special keys, probably not. Man, lots of locked doors, and I am very low on keys. This would actually be useful here, and I haven't seen it yet, so I think I'm just going to do it. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, glad I drafted this at some point, this run, because there's Lots of stuff going on in here. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Okay, all the letters are there, in case anyone was wondering why I was listing out the entire alphabet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, infinity, 9, 10. Okay, this is grade 1. I wonder if that changes based on how many classrooms I do. I wonder if there are... Ooh. My thought now is that grade 1 is there because this is the first classroom I've drafted in the day. And once I do that, maybe I can continue on to grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, etc. And let me see. 8 classrooms, so potentially up to grade 8. Yeah, so maybe I should have been drafting these much more frequently. Let's look at some of these papers. Color worksheet. Fill in each object below with its correct color. Okay, well, I can't do the worksheet, but is this important? The pumpkin is orange. The water is blue. The wagon is red. The lizard salamander thing is green. Bananas are yellow. Fire hydrant is red. Broccoli is green. Is that a blueprint? I'm guessing that's blue. Grapes are purple. I don't know what the 3 flags are. I don't know if those are flags I'm supposed to recognize, but those seem to be the standout items on this worksheet. And I guess we can see how other people have completed it. So let's do that. Oh, this is a puzzle. I have to see what their score is and determine what the actual colors of the flags are. This person's name is RJ, maybe? Okay, they got a 10 out of 12. The objects that are not flags all look like they are the correct color, which means they got 1 of the flags right and 2 wrong. So let me write this down. This is the grade 1 puzzle. So we've got 3 flags. This is RJ's worksheet. The mountain flag is yellow. The arrow flag is purple. And the hourglass flag is orange. And he got 1 out of 3. He or she, I guess. Or they. Let's see. Freddy. They got a 9 out of 12. They colored the salamander purple, which is probably wrong. If they had gotten that right, they would have gotten a 10 out of 12. The blueprint is also yellow. If they had gotten that right, they would have gotten 11 out of 12. All the other objects seem correct, which means they got 2 out of the 3 flags correct. So, this is Freddy. And they colored the mountain yellow. They colored the arrow orange. And they colored the hourglass green. And they, oh my goodness. Okay. And they got 2 out of 3 correct. Okay, that's Freddy. And we've got 2 more. You must really like red. Okay. Yes, okay. They colored 2 objects red, which are red, and those are correct. And they got a 2 out of 12, which means none of the flags are red. I'm just going to write that down. None of the flags are red. And that's Caleb. That's my name. I wonder if that's a recent thing, because I know there's a Caleb Manning that's mentioned in some of those news articles. So that's interesting. And this is Benny, presumably. Each color is only used twice. Okay. That is good to know. I'm going to write that down if I can type in this person's name. Okay. Each color is only used twice. This person got a 10 out of 12. They colored the salamander red, which is probably wrong. That seems to be the only object they got wrong. But they also colored a flag blue, which seems like it's probably not the case, since there are already 2 other objects that are blue. Sorry if you can hear that background noise. My cat is using the litter box, which happens to also be in this room. I was hoping that this would never happen, because she gets really excited about using it. So hopefully it doesn't last too much longer. I'll try to talk over it so that you don't have to listen to it too much. Okay, so none of the flags are blue. That I am certain of, and none of the flags are red. So that's 2 colors ruled out completely. How many other objects have 2 things? There are 2 green objects, probably. I'm having trouble determining whether the salamander is definitely green or not, but I'll go ahead and say none of the flags are green, just to rule out a 3rd color. So, let's see. If they're not blue, they're not red, they're not green. That means they are only yellow, orange, and purple. Which makes sense because there's only 1 yellow object, 1 orange object, and 1 purple object. So, if we compare that... Okay, first of all, what score did this person get? They missed the salamander. If they had gotten it right, that would make them 11 out of 12. That's the only object they got wrong. But we know that blue is also the wrong color for the flag. If they had gotten that right, they would have gotten all 12. Which means I think the arrow is definitely orange. And the hourglass is definitely purple. Right? Yeah, hourglass is purple. So that would make the last one yellow, right? And that would be the mountain. Yeah, and that makes sense. Freddie said the mountain was yellow and the arrow was orange. And the hourglass was green. We know the hourglass is not green because green isn't used. So the other 2 must be right. RJ got 1 out of 3. And they said the mountain is yellow. They also said the arrow was purple, which is not true. Probably. And they also said the hourglass is orange, which is probably not true. Well, we know it's yellow, purple, and orange, so it would make sense that they switched 2 of them if they used yellow, purple, and orange. Okay. Yes, I think I've got all 3 colors correct. What is that used for? I don't know. There's the colors. Sorry, I've been saying purple this whole time when it's clearly violet. Classroom puzzle, spot the difference. Yes. The difference in this case is an eye. That seems like a really tough puzzle for a 1st grader. Just gonna throw that out there. My cat has finished her business, thankfully. I apologize once again that we all had to sit through that. It's going to be really funny if I talked about it this much and you can't even hear it on the recording, but I'm pretty sure you can because it's quite loud. Okay, I don't think there's anything else going on in here. There's a red flag. There's just a solid red flag in here. Is that like a metaphor? I don't know. Let's keep going. Oh yes, and I can redraw 3 times. Wow, I didn't realize I had that many rooms already. But yeah, I have this one, I have the library, and the outdoor room as well. I think counts as one of those. So, I don't think I like these options very much because I would like to go to the right. So yeah, let's redraw. Classroom, even though I would use my last gem, which I don't think is super smart. But it would be another classroom. But I mean, that could be just the end of my run completely. Oh man, I was so hopeful for this run and I feel like we're already reaching the end. So that's kind of sad. Classroom. I mean, what's nice is that if I do this, I get 4 redraws in there. But again, that's my last gem. And it shoves me off to the left again. Let's do it. It's a new classroom. And yes, it is grade 2. So I was right about that. The letters and numbers seem to be the same. Classroom puzzle. Ooh, and this is mathematics. It's starting to add up. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Okay. So I'm assuming the puzzle in here is pretty similar. There's going to be a worksheet. I don't need steps. I need literally anything else. Please give me another item. There's this hidden thing in here. Attention, Mrs. Hannah Peterson. Hannah, after a few false leads, I managed to track down one of the old textbooks from your list. The original compendium was in archival storage on a restricted floor of the campus library, to which I fortunately still have access. However, I'm devastated to report that the pages, 36 and 37, pertaining to your query had been removed. It's such a shame that the progress of higher academia is constantly thwarted by the political whims of the CBE. Oh no. If you wish, I can transcribe the surviving pages and send them to you, but I don't believe there is any mention of cores of any kind in their text. Your friend, Professor L. Charity. Pages 36 and 37 of a specific textbook had reference to cores of some kind, and the CBE doesn't want any word of them spreading around. Very interesting. Mathematics worksheet directions find each sum without using signs. Okay. I'm assuming the colors pertain to the colors up there, which are, I believe, the same colors as the dartboard puzzle. So it's 2 plus 5 is 7, 6 plus 1 plus 3 is 10, 4 plus 9 is 13, 6 plus 1 minus 3 is 4, 7 minus 3 is 4, 6 minus 1 minus 3 is 2, 9 minus 8 is 1, 6 plus 1 times 3, yes, is 21, 2 times 2 is 4, 6 times 1 times 3 is 18, 3 times 4 is 12, and 6 minus 1 times 3 is 15. Now, what does that have to do with anything? Very nice. Okay. That's another redraw if I need it, which I'm thinking I might. Okay, mathematics worksheet. This is Rob. Yeah, Rob. Okay. Look at the colors, find each sum without using signs. It looks like they just add... Oh, nope, they didn't just add everything. It looks like they accidentally thought that the pink ones were subtraction. Or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. I think they just got confused quite a bit. Okay. They got 5 right out of 12. They got the first one. They got 7, they got 13. They got 1. So that's 3, right? They got 10. They got 2. And that's it. Okay. I'm still trying to figure out what the point of this is. Maybe this is a clue for the dartboard puzzle in case you didn't figure it out on your own. I guess that's possible. Jenny W. They got a 9 out of 12. Right, because they didn't multiply correctly. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm thinking this might just be a hint for the dartboard puzzle. Just to make it extra clear in case you didn't get it. Okay. I'm a fan of that. Parlor cuts me off. Observatory does not, but it costs gems. I think we're going to have to redraw to give ourselves a chance at doing pretty much anything. This would give me more keys, but would completely block me off. This would block me off. This one would not block me off, but it costs gems that I don't have. I think that might be the problem I run into every time. Unfortunately, I'm going to use all my redraws. Dark room. Now that has potential. It's also the only one I've seen so far that allows me to go anywhere. So I think I'm just going to have to do it. Okay, lights shut off. That's fine. I'm going to use my plenty of steps that I'm likely not going to use ever to go all the way back to the utility closet and turn them back on. Sorry, forgot how to get out of that menu. It's through here, it's through here, all the way at the end. This is called the utility closet. I need to remember that because I keep forgetting. And let's head back into the dark room and hope that I get something useful. Okay. Is there an item in here? I feel like there normally is. Yes, that's a lever. Yep, that looks good. It's probably the only item in here. And I believe I've looked at all of the pictures of things already. So I don't think I need to spend time doing that this time. One thing I did think about before I move on, this guy is holding a memo that mentions that all of the green memos that are found in Hartley's room are never true. What I'm wondering is whether the memo he's holding is a red memo, because in this photograph, it certainly looks red, like just based on the fact that the entire photograph is red. So it's possible that it's a typed red memo telling me that green memos in Hartley's room are not true. And because of that, because of the fact that it's a typed red memo, it would actually mean that green memos found in Hartley's room are true. So, I don't know, something to keep in mind, I guess. There's my key card in action. I like it. Furnace would be not good, and I can't afford either of the other ones. Oh, I can't believe I'm already out of gems. I felt like I was doing so much to get items at the beginning, but maybe choosing the library instead of the parlor just meant that I could not possibly get enough gems for this run, which is really unfortunate. I just realized the rarity is shown above these rooms. I don't think I noticed that before. That's interesting. I don't know if that's only a keycard thing or if that's an always thing and I just haven't noticed. We're going to redraw because I don't really feel like I have a choice. Parlor. Gets me gems. Leaves an opening. Let's do it. And hope that the door is not locked. Although I think I still have a silver key, actually. So, all hope is not lost if I end up running into a locked door. Gems are in both the black box and the white box. Hold on, I have a cat in the way. Okay, gems are in both the black box and the white box. That doesn't seem correct, so that's probably false. Gems are in both the blue box and the black box. Also doesn't seem correct, so that's probably not true. Gems are not in the white box or the blue box. That could potentially be true, and that would make them be in this box. Are part of the rules that the gems are only in one box? There will always be at least one box which displays true statements, at least one box which only displays false statements. Only one box has a prize within. Okay, yes, that is the information I needed, and that means the gems are definitely in the black box. Yes, thank you. I find it interesting that you can close this back, but I guess it's to reread the statements. There's another chess piece. I'm ignoring it. I'm covering my ears and screaming loudly. Yeah, give me the silver key. This isn't a great place for it, but whatever. Dining room is good. Weight room is gonna get rid of like all my steps, but it does get me up, and I can't afford rotunda. Yeah, we can do dining room. That's fine. Yeah, I haven't reached rank 8, so I can't eat. Here's the car keys, which would be nice if I can draft the garage, which will also now be powered, but I think does cost gems. Moving, oh gosh. Yeah, no more keys. I think that's it. I don't think there's anywhere else to go, right? No, I have completely blocked myself off from everything. Wow, I probably shouldn't be that upset, but I felt like there was so much potential for this run. And I think picking the library at the beginning may have squandered all that. Maybe it's just the RNG was just bad all around. Maybe picking the Nook at the beginning instead of the library wouldn't have helped me that much. But there are a lot more things I could have picked if I had had more gems, and I did not end up with more gems. Yeah. I'm also wondering if I had opted not to draft an outdoor room right away and instead waited until I could re-roll, I could have at least gotten the shelter. Maybe. I don't know. It is what it is. I can go back to the break room, which would allow me to start the next run with a key card. And that would be really nice to have a key card again. Although I only used it one time this run, which is really unfortunate. I think maybe since I started with a key card, I maybe should have gone off to the right and tried to build up from the right instead of the left, because I think the west side has fewer locked doors. And I don't know if that also applies to keycarded doors, but probably. Although I did run into a lot of locked doors on the west side. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can do. I don't have any keys. I don't think I saw any chests. But when I'm heading back to the break room, I'll keep an eye out. And I don't have any shops or anything. Yeah, wow. That's just really unfortunate. Hold on a second. What does the sleeping mask do? The first time you enter each bedroom. Right, that's right. Okay. Maybe the sleeping mask is what I combined with the bunk room last time. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it's just time to head back. That was just bad luck after bad luck, probably. And maybe all stemming from a poor decision at the beginning. But now I know. Now I know. Is it that way? No, it's this way, right? Yeah, it's all the way at the end of the hallway here. I'm not seeing any chests anywhere. Alright. I guess that's it. And I'm gonna call it a day. Yeah, let's call it. And I ended with not very many steps left too, which is interesting, considering how few rooms I had. Mount Holly, west-facing villa. Yeah, pretty much everything. I didn't even touch the east wing. Okay, well, kind of disappointing run overall. Maybe I shouldn't have been putting so much expectation on it to begin with. I think going forward, I'm going to try to pick new rooms, maybe even when they are a terrible choice, because I think there's a lot of information in new rooms that could potentially help me. So that is something I'll have to think about. And that might even apply to the outer room. Even though the shelter has a safe in it that could potentially have something really good in it, I might just need to wait on that for now. Especially now that I know for sure what day it is, like what the date is, I'm not too concerned about like having to draw the shelter more than once going forward. So that's good. And yeah, that's all for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry if I was a little negative towards the end there. I just am hopeful that I can make better decisions in the future. If you liked the video, please leave a like or a positive comment. That really helps me out. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.